15.
The reigning French Open champion is Iga Swiatek and world #1. Casey, what do you want to see from Kerber right off the bat out here?
Look, I think last night against Ajla Tomljanovic, she certainly started off quite slow. I feel like today, against a quality opponent like Iga Swiatek, she's going to have to get up on top of the baseline a little bit more. And look, I think to create opportunities for yourself against a player like Swiatek, you have to have great footwork, you have to have early preparation, you have to try and take the ball on the rise. And I think if Angie can do that early and then start to build some points and build some pressure, that's certainly going to help her. I also think with the late night and the less recovery, you really got to get the legs pumping. You've got to get some blood and some adrenaline going through your body and really get going as quick as you can. And hit some beautiful shots like that.
40-15.
This is trademark Kerber. See how she flattens it out, open stance, and just accelerates, gets some great depth.
Game, simple.
Confident opener from the world's best.
Close game.
Currently on a 15-match winning streak is Iga, which includes a win against the Brazilian, but Beatriz Haddad-Maia. She knocked off the Spanish #1, Sara Sorribes Tuma, both of those matches in straight sets. The Chinese #1, Zheng Xinwen, 2 and 3, and then just dropped a set against Caroline Garcia to drop the opener, but came back very quickly, 1 and 1. And that was the first set that she had dropped since playing Garcia in Beijing. She's not just winning, she's beating players comfortably and starting to try and pull away at the top of the women's rankings. So it feels like a big game here for Kerber. This will tell us a lot to see,
Angelique Kerber,
to see how she's recovered. Have you seen Liana, Casey?
I have, yeah. I was...
Which is Angie's baby. He'll be 1 in February.
Yeah, I met them at the airport, actually.
Okay.
Greeted them on arrival into Sydney, and they said they had a great flight, and they were very excited to be in Sydney and travelling as a family, and Angie was obviously very excited to be back in Australia, where she's had so much success before. So having played with Angie on tour for many years, I was also very thrilled to see her back.
And a baby. You
and
do like a baby. You do like a baby, don't you?
There's been a lot of babies around this week too, between Team Germany and Team France have had multiple children in the player areas.
I think they were breeding in the media dining area. And as I mentioned earlier, one ran under my feet and nearly fell over it. It was all these little things crawling around. And the toys everywhere.
Toys, yes, and books, and got to keep them busy, you know, got to keep them occupied.
Kerber currently playing without a ranking, but when she stopped at Wimbledon in the third round. She was beaten by Elisa Mertens. That was her last match before coming down to Australia. That was Wimbledon 2022. She was ranked at 31 in the world. And that allows her to come back with a special ranking. That's a really good opening service game. So let's go down to Laura. Good time to be in the German team zone after that hold.
It is, yeah. Strong start here. I'm with Sasha. On a scale of 0 to 100, how recovered would you say you are right now?
Minus 100.
What time did you get to bed in the end?
5:45 last night. I actually thought about making a very funny social media post, but I thought, no, I won't before a final. But yeah, I mean, obviously very long night, but 3 nights back to back is obviously difficult, you know, physically. I mean, it's almost harder than a Grand Slam here because, you know, we don't have off days, so we have to play back to back. And but yeah, we're in the final, so there's no excuses now. We have to kind of take what we have and try to make the best out of it.
Yeah, the final's all that matters. So any energy that you do have left, you're going to show on court today, right?
For sure. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna do everything I can. This is an unbelievable start by Angie, by the way. I'm gonna do everything I can, obviously, not only for myself but for the team, for Germany, and yeah, hopefully it's gonna be a fun one.
And Angie's chances here, she started really well. What are the tactics? Do you know what she's planning to do out there?
I have no idea, but whatever she's doing right now, she should keep doing. I mean, she's playing amazing. She started to play amazing since yesterday, I thought. I mean, I think, especially after you're out for a very long time, I think winning any match anyway always helps the confidence. And then she's a champion. She's a multiple Grand Slam champion, so she knows how to do it. But I think, yeah, from now it's going to go only upwards for her.
Good luck for the rest of the tie.
Thank you.
She hasn't just been away from the game for a year and a half. She's had her baby as well. She's one of the new breed of super mums coming back on tour. Let's see how super she's going to be out here this evening.
Really impressed, like Sasha, what I'm seeing right now from Kerber. Willing to take the ball up on the rise, redirect, absorb some pace from Swiatek. I think it's a different matchup to what she played against Garcia, of course. Garcia, very big ball, doesn't want to play long extended points, and Angie being a left-hander as well. Patterns of play are different, so maybe a small adjustment period for Swiatek out here in these early stages as well.
Lefties were not a problem for Iga on tour last year. 7-0 against the Southpaws. That's the true and the real lefties. That's the not true and the real lefties, I mean. What a start to this final on serve, early stages of the first set.
So games 2-1.
Fans all flooding into the stadium now. Of course, often get the ones that just are slightly late. They miss the changeover, don't they? They miss this. If you miss the start, you get stuck until the first changeover, which can be 15-20 minutes. I always think they could let the minute one love. That would be the end of the world, would it?
Dlatego jak dołożysz tutaj będzie kształtem, to już nie będzie mogła. Raz wykorzysta, raz nie pójdzie za wysoko. Sam jak będzie kąt, to już nie będzie trudniej.
The top-ranked player on each team can choose who the team captain is, and Iga bringing along her personal coach. They're just starting 3 seasons together. He would have known Iga in passing when he was coaching Aga Radwanska. And Casey, I noticed he was quite strong actually in his message. No idea what he said, but he was quite into it, wasn't he? Normally he's very man of few words, but he was straight. I think he recognises the threat here.
Yeah, I agree. I also couldn't understand, but I felt like it was something around patterns of play. He was pointing in multiple directions, so.
Behind the players. Thank you.
And absolutely, who would have seen Angie Kerber play on tour for many, many years. Let's see what she's capable of.
Fifteen.
35 years of age, spent 34 weeks as the world's #1. Collecting 3 majors so far in her career.
You don't often see this much back and forth between Iga and Thomas. Usually they kind of stay silent a few games, there's a few words, but she's just figuring out some tactics here.
Okay, so you're right, because Thomas knows, well, as I was referencing before, he would have known Iga, he would have watched her as a junior, so it was an easier transition to become her coach. But he knows Angie Kerber well because he was in the chair for 12 meetings with the German when he was coaching Aga. And they finished up their career head-to-head 6 apiece.
Exactly pinpoint the match, but I remember watching one of the matches. I think it was a bit of an epic and it went forever, and they had these long extended rallies. Both of them were, you know how they both get in that lunge position where they redirect down the line. They played some fantastic matches over the length of their careers.
Oh, sensational!
Adding on to the 26 forehand winners from yesterday.
Yeah, she's really found her, she's really got her eye in on this. We know that is such a trademark Kerber shot, but she's now just feeling it.
We saw it in the first game, didn't we? That's always been a great sign. Oh, this is so good!
Games on.
Honestly, I'm just impressed that Kerber can even move today. Like, how brutal was that match by the end the both of them, Isla and Angie, their legs were done. And we had Leighton and Team Australia trying to say it earlier in the match, but by the end of it, it was true.
I also think, though, when you've had one of those matches, Laura, you know, when you battle it out, you save multiple set points or whatever it might be, you just, there's also something in you that just like ignites something different. Yeah, free you maybe. And also, talking to Torben after the match, it was, for Angie, she just felt like after the 3 losses that maybe she was so far off. But I think that match and that win just made her that self-belief and that confidence to come out here and play Iga just is so elevated now because of that win yesterday. And you can see the confidence in her.
It was the way that she won the match in the end, wasn't it, as well? With them, you know, grinding it out for sure with the legs. There was so many points where you thought she wasn't going to be able to stay in it, and then she makes you play 2 extra balls. It was really vintage Angie. But then she was able to add the pace, which we haven't seen throughout the week, and it just made such a difference off the ground strokes.
And also, just lastly on that, I feel like when we watched it earlier in the week, you could sense this fatigue kicking in, but we didn't really see that as much, or even if at all, maybe at times, but didn't really feel like there was a heap of fatigue coming from Angie Kerber, and that's purely now because she's got her match fitness up. You can practice as much as you want, but once you get some match fitness in you, that's key.
Well, I was thinking last night, yes, she played first and then didn't play the doubles, but realistically, you haven't been able to fit in physio time, as much recovery time as you usually would, because you want to get back to the team bench to support for the next 2 matches. So I'm sure she did that at the very end of play.
This is where footwork comes into play. Great preparation, those small adjustment steps, and just frees the shoulders. Beautiful return. The one that she favours is the wide one on the juice court, and for a lefty, that I always found that return pretty difficult. Well outside the court on that return, Angie Kerber.
so far in this opening 20 minutes. The signs that she has backed up from yesterday's epic with Tomljanovic in fine fettle. Team Germany with the first chance to break here. Oh, brilliantly saved.
It's tough because on that return you think, well, I'll go cross-court because I want to get to the backhand side rather than the forehand. But unless it's placed perfectly, this one just landing too short, too much in that middle third, straight away you're done.
Yesterday really started to introduce in her game. I don't feel like she's had the confidence to go her backhand line. You can see that it just paints the back of the line. But that has really made the rest of her game more effective because now she's pulling trigger line. It's making her cross-court one way more dangerous.
Another great save. Gosh, this is good.
Yes.
Reminder of their only meeting to date came a couple of seasons ago in the desert of Indian Wells. In the round of 16, it was Swiatek having to come back from losing the first set, winning in 3. The only time these two have faced each other. Too good.
Advantage, Team Poland.
Jazda.
Fifth juice now.
Yes.
That is her preferred serve. You know, she likes that, the wide on the juice court. If I was Angie, not sure as a lefty as well, Laura, what you'd perhaps do, but I know for me, I like to really kind of take an extra step in, cut off the angle, because if I was pushed out of court, it just opens the rest of the court up so easily.
That's an excellent hold. And we remain on serve in this first set.
Team Poland leads 3 games to 2.
Nie zagra tak, tego meczu. No to zagra, niech zagra, nie istotne. Nas to nie interesuje.
Well, this is very much a sporting capital. There's so many out on the water. It's the very heart of the city, and of course the Opera House celebrating its 50th birthday this year. I think there might be a few celebrations around that.
We hope you are already having an incredible start to the United Cup Series 50. If you are, make sure you step away, use the hashtag just like
Everyone wants to play tennis. That's what we love in this Aussie summer. And when those kids step inside the Ken Rosewell Arena, they will see some of the world's best. It's been a fantastic start to this final. Only 5 games in.
Ladies and gentlemen, time.
One thing we've learnt about this United Cup, it can surprise you at any moment.
Seats quickly, please, behind the players. Thank you.
If Angela wanted to get some tennis ahead of the first major of the year and her comeback, she has come to the right place. And as Sasha Zverev was mentioning, they have played on Friday night against the Greeks, where she was beaten by Sakkari quite easily, against Saturday night against the Aussies, and now for a third evening in a row against the Poles. It's going to be some tired legs over the next couple of days.
At the same time, though, I think they played their second group match on the Monday in the end.
Yep,
so then they were waiting around, and that's tough in a lot of ways, because you're thinking, oh, if I don't make it to the quarterfinals, I should go quite hard in practice over the next few days. So it might sound like a bunch of days off, but they probably were doing double-day practices, trying to get as much preparation as possible, and then you find out a couple of days later, oh, hang on, we're back on the match court on Friday.
They came in as the best runners-up here in Sydney in Group D. One of those slower second serves getting punished. And now Iga has a chance to pounce. You both played, Angie. Why is it so hard? Because she doesn't overpower you.
No, but she's so hard to read. I always just found her disguise in terms of if she was going to, she holds her forehand almost to the last minute. She's able to pull it across. We know she likes that flat one down the line as well. That was what was difficult for me, and obviously because it was a low flat ball, you'd hit up and then she'd be kind of all over the next ball.
example of why she's tough to play, because you think you've hit a good shot and then it comes back with more angle on it, and it's so low. This from courtside doesn't have a lot of margin at times from Angie, but that's what makes it difficult, because she just finds the space, turning defense to offense so quickly.
She creates a winner when there really isn't one on. Wow, all break points rebuffed so far, and we remain on serve.
Angie, come on, go.
That is a super impressive hold from Kerber. I think the other thing is it takes players a long time to build a reputation on tour, and for Angie, for many, many years, she built this reputation of being such a tough competitor. So I knew when I was going into a match with her kind of what you were in for, and it almost felt quite deflating, because you just knew that it was going to be such an extremely tough match.
Yeah, I remember playing Angie before she kind of made that transition to the top of the game, and the difference then, you know, within 6 months was just incredible. So strong off the back foot, but she went from lingering around the top 100, top 80 mark, and then I played her at Wimbledon, and by US Open, she was a different player. She was so committed to just staying in the rally, making you play 3-4 extra shots, plus she added the pace on the serve, and the placement changed. So she did so much work in such a short amount of time, and then just went on a huge run.
I think I must have played her in between that. I played her in Dallas. I think I must have been in between Wimbledon and US Open on the lead up to the US Open swing, and exactly what Laura said, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, 13 years ago, Laura, you beat Angie at Wimbledon.
God,
I wonder if you realised
old.
you were playing a future champion, and then that year she made semis in New York. I remember interviewing her after she beat Panetta. She was totally stunned. Oh, we're so happy she's come back, and she's going to get the reigning #1. All sorts of headaches out here.
I feel like Swiatek's certainly overplaying. We know how disciplined you need to be against a player like Kerber, and even on that one there, just another forced error, because she knows the next ball is always coming back.
So, for a second successive service game, Swiatek facing a break point.
Didn't look overly comfortable, did it? A little bit hesitant, but didn't quite get the split step right, and got stuck in a very awkward position.
I don't know what the man after whom this stadium is named after would make of that particular technique.
Hubi's still got his sliders on. The toes are out. He's pretty relaxed.
Oh, it's vintage, Angie.
Advantage, team.
You can't read it, can you? With
It's
that
the
grip?
setup, isn't it, Case? Because that is an incredible angle off the back foot and then immediately takes the second one a little bit earlier.
Wow, she's come out here this evening so aggressive. Another chance to break. Well saved.
Yes.
I feel like on big points, Petch was talking about it in his analysis as well, just around predictability on serve of Swiatek on big points particularly. Max be clutch on the out wide to the juice court, to the ad court, sorry, and again there.
Second double.
Advantage, Team Germany.
Service game. Well played.
Yes.
Laura, just to circle back, I thought a slider was something you ate. What is Hubie her catch?
No, slides, Sam, slides. Like, well, here would be
Thongs.
but for us it would be sandals.
Oh, he's got his sandals on. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Why didn't you
sliders.
Why don't you just...
That's what they're called.
Is that what they're called?
Aren't they just called slides?
Well, maybe here in the UK.
Sliders are like the
I think in the UK we use
canapes
both.
that you get when you go to functions. You know the little sliders?
Yep, yeah, the other thing you eat.
Yeah, slides.
Well done.
Have you been thinking about that this whole time?
I was thinking what you were thinking, Laura. That was
Yeah, I have,
that was
yeah.
like 10 minutes ago.
I know, I've been worrying about it. It's something else I didn't know. Slide is something you put in your hair as well. It's just so confusing. Once again, comes through a very long service game, and we're still on serve in this opening set.
Team Poland leads 4-3.
We don't need to see it close up of people's feet anyway, guys.
Oh, there they are.
Oh, there they are.
That's too much toe for me.
The things you learn in a commentary box. It's an education.
He doesn't need to have the old tennis shoes on just yet, does he?
Feet fresh. Thomas Wikborski's he's frowning. He's frowning, not a good sign.
There is so much chatter from him over the last two changeovers, which we haven't seen all week. Even when she was a set down yesterday against Garcia, there wasn't much at the end of the first.
pozycji, Iga, pilnuj pozycji, jak dochodzisz tutaj do narożnika, po trochę się odchylasz, wtedy idzie do góry.
Team Poland, certainly the favourites coming in here to this United Cup final. We've seen from Thomas Vickros, who the coach has been quite strong. There's been some frowning at the far end of the bench. He's Craig Boynton, the American coach of QB Hologic. QB in the jacket, not feeling quite warm enough yet. So pretty stuffy early evening here.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Players are ready. Thank you. First available seat for now, please. First.
What do you think the best serve is when you're playing Swiatek, Laura?
Well, if there was a simple solution, then more people would be doing it.
I just feel like I feel like the body serve is probably one of the more effective serves when you're playing Swiatek, purely because she's quite upright on her return and you can find the ability to jam her. But I just feel like with Kerber's serve and the lack of speed.
Oh, that's another level now.
Yeah, you read my mind. The serve, if it goes in the body, has to be super deep in the box, and also it has to have some more pace on it. And Kerber's first serve isn't jumping through the court. So then I feel like maybe she should just stick to the lefty swinger.
15-40.
Couple of great points in the last service game for Iga. Couldn't convert. Still got two more here.
One saved by Kerber using the out wide, just a little bit of a mix-up. He's gone a lot down the middle there on that juice court.
It's held, and there's the break.
Team Poland leads 5 games to 3.
Team Poland now serving for this first set.
It's great stuff from the world number one.
Yeah, these double faults just sort of poking around at the moment, just checking her progress.
The swing looks a little disjointed on some of these second serves, and it looks like she's thinking about the motion too much rather than just keeping it as natural as possible and accelerating through the ball.
Oj tak.
40-30.
It's been a high quality 50 minutes here. Ken Rosal Arena. It's in Poland with set point.
Let's Fossen.
Team Poland edge it as Swiatek takes the first by 6 games to 3.
It was number one on tour for second serve return points won last year.
I was pretty interested in that discussion on in the set break there between Iga and Tomas. Not again that I can speak Polish, but I think there was a lot of chatter about her serve. And maybe we can talk a little bit more about it when she goes up to serve, but I just feel like there's significant changes in her serve, and we know that with Iga and what she's been able to do in the off-season. And I think it's going to take time, like you said, Laura, for her motion to become quite just natural.
Oh, what speed. What an athlete.
15-13.
Yes, for it to become part of her, like
Yeah.
the rest of the game.
Exactly, and hence we've seen a couple of 3 double faults from her so far, but just that where you walk up to the line and the swing feels natural and you can just go through the motions. I don't think she's quite there yet.
I have no idea what that feels like. So you've explained it very well, though. Big game here for Team Germany to hang on. I feel like they've been doing that ever since this competition began. Iga lining up back to breaks right here. And there it is.
Game,
Team Poland take control of this first singles.
First game, second set.
It's just so solid, isn't she? Never drops the intensity, and you look at the only person who's been able to win sets against her over the last few months is Caroline Garcia, who just plays a very different style of tennis to Kerber.
Dobra, tak naciskaj na serwis. Brawo.
So does Angie just need to be a little braver here, go for a bit more with the second serve return as soon as she can get a look at it.
Yeah, look, I think...
That one's for you, Katie.
Yeah, I agree with Laura. I mean, she's got to do something differently right now, does Angie Kerber, but when Swiatek gets rolling and she's started to be a little bit more aggressive with the backhand, it's making it tough. Now let's take a look at the Swiatek serve, because you can see her take back. It's a lot more abbreviated, and she gets up. And Petch talked about her trunk rotation as well. And she's mainly made the change for that +1 shot so that she's in a much better position after the serve to absorb the return and be in a more aggressive position.
It's just adaptability, isn't it, to be able to do that in a short span of time in the off-season. And you think back last year, she did the same with her return position. It became a lot more narrow, a lot more upright, because she was looking for the fast twitch fibres off the split step.
The only thing that I'm slightly concerned about with the change in service technique is the load on her shoulder. When you abbreviate it, you just place a little bit more stress through the shoulder.
Yep. Sort of gone out of fashion, haven't they? It had, you know, because of that reason.
Yeah, well, it's very... Like Pat Rafter used to serve a bit similar.
Team Poland. Team Poland leads.
There was just a nod there towards Thomas. Whatever they spoke about in the last changeover, she feels a lot more comfortable. Easy to say with the set and a break.
Kerber has put together a wonderful career, but actually if you look at her numbers, when she loses the first set against a top 10 player, she's only come back to win on 5 occasions. Times that's happened to her, losing the first set against a top 10 player over her career. And conversely, she's up against one of the great front runners of recent times. Too good.
having so much time out of the game, Kerber. I think she's obviously, we've spoken about how much court time in tennis she's had, but also the opportunity to play the world #1 and just really test your level.
15-14.
It's unravelling very quickly here, though, isn't it? After a wonderful sort of opening 8 games, where she matched the reigning world #1 ball for ball. But this is going away now. It's a double break.
Gdyby wpadła na pomysł, żeby
Team
chciała
Poland
strzelać,
leads. 3 games to love.
swoje. Ty naciskaj. Dalej to samo.
Penrose Arena, fitting stage for the second United Cup final. Poland very much on the front foot now.
Time. Love 15.
We're nice in tennis, aren't we?
She got it. She got the ball.
We're a good sport. You like the signs over here in Aussie, don't you? You like your signs for the fans.
Yeah. Yep.
It was a big,
Because it's
thing.
part of the,
Yeah.
in primary school, you make signs for,
Is that right?
yeah, like it would often be a class where you could go and make a sign for, like, the Matildas was obviously popular with you
Yeah. Okay.
FIFA Women's World Cup on our shores. So,
Yeah. I noticed that. Yeah. There was a lot of signs
good observation.
when I come down under.
My kids like to make signs for the doors, their doors. They like to make signs for...
Okay. It's a thing.
It's a thing,
It's
yeah.
definitely an Aussie thing.
Another random conversation with Sam Smith.
30-15.
It won't be the last.
Signs that Iga's running away with this one.
Oh,
Oh.
Laura, you should be in the commentary box. Wasted courtside.
Such a mum joke, Laura.
Oh, first loose one. And
30 off.
the first really loose one we've seen in the 62 minutes we've been out here. You know, she's over the years, she's actually made a few of those.
Oh yeah, plenty of them.
The impossible. We've seen her do it. Total domination. 7 games in a row now for the world #1.
Oh, from down here, it just looks like Angelique Kerber's lost her legs, and very understandable given the court time yesterday, the adrenaline that she must have felt closing out that match, but then all that recovery that she would have had to do in the early hours of the morning, and just the last 2 games, the split step's gone. You know, it's not as explosive off the first move.
The heart is still willing, though.
But you can even see there when she gets those small adjustment steps around the ball and can prepare. But because of that fatigue, I think it's few and far between now.
That's when you feel it most, isn't it? When you're trying to move around the ball, create the space, really get after it and add pace to the forehand. You need the legs underneath you.
Well, historically, Angie's always had a tough time against reigning world #1s. It's only beaten on 2 occasions, as a ranker early on in her career and against Serena in that Australian final. That's how she did it. That was 8 years ago now. But there's been a lot of losses over the years to the very best player in the world, to Enan and Wozniacki, and many times Serena, and most recently to Ash Barty in the Wimbledon final when she was the world #1. One game away now from giving Team Poland the perfect start.
Team Poland leads 5 games to 2.
Ten kształt prędkością robi robotę.
Certainly this part of the world is not short of the most stunning beaches, and this is where, well, if you're a backpacker or you're coming to Sydney for the very first time, this is where you head, Bondi. And Casey knows how tricky my geography is of this part of the world. I've been told this is one of the eastern beaches. Even I can get my head around that, if not upright on a surfboard. There's a few sharks in there, though, aren't there? Yes, I always worry about that when I'm here.
I never worry about the sharks.
You
Never.
always don't.
No, never, because no, I just don't even think about it. Like, they're not.
They got big and they got big teeth.
Yeah, they're not coming from me though.
Perth girls, nothing bothers you.
dalej. Dyscyplina, dalej swoje.
You suspect in her time in Melbourne next week there will be large buckets of balls to be served.
Bardzo aktywnie, czujnie.
Putting Team Poland in pole position right now, isn't she?
Yep. You sense she loves playing for her country. She's quite an introvert, quite quiet, does her own thing. Seems to have adjusted to superstardom back home very well in her own way. They've been very good at managing the success which came as a 19-year-old on the clay courts of Roland Garros. What an addition she is to our sport. Team Poland now at match point. The Poles are off to the perfect start. 70 minutes to defeat a major champion. Swiatek victorious, 6-3, 6-love, and they go ahead and are one match up in the tie. Well, 5 singles matches in and only 1 set dropped. Give us a glimpse, doesn't it, of what we might see in Melbourne, Casey?